Unbelievable.
Alternative gonna give you what you asking for. Naturally yours, but educate the most. Hottest in the game, here to put you on. Come learn this business, welcome to Twinness. Alternative gonna give you what you asking for. Naturally yours, but educate the most. Hottest in the game, here to put you on. Come learn this business, welcome to Twinness. We're glad you're tuning in on the latest tips. Alternative salon, keep your head lit. And naturally yours, got your custom fit. Teacher Vince and Nikki, keep your wig drip. TNT, double up the impact, call it Twinness. Hottest hairstylist in the business. Keeping topics fresh for your listening. Black owned, woman independent. Like fishes hold it down on your imaging. Whether professional or apprenticeship. Showing culture love just to get you right. Black is beautiful, always shining bright. Alternative gonna give you what you asking for. Naturally yours, but educate the most. Hottest in the game, here to put you on. Come learn this business, welcome to Twinness. Alternative gonna give you what you asking for. Naturally yours, but educate the most. Hottest in the game, here to put you on. Come learn this business, welcome to Twinness.
Y'all are not going to believe this. How are you, Renee? Let me tell you something. It's not funny. We have been talking live for 20 minutes and I forgot to hit go live. So for 20 minutes, Tanika and I have been chit-chatting, having the show, and we're wondering where's the comments? Nobody's on, and it's pitiful. That was all me right there. That was me. I forgot to hit the go live button, guys. So this is Tisha, Alternatives Beauty Studio.
And I'm Tanika. I'm naturally yours.
Horrible. Nikki, how was your day?
It was good. It was long. I'm tired, but it's good. How was
Oh my
yours?
goodness. I cannot believe we were on here 20 minutes just talking it up, doing our show, almost done, and no live button. So let's start this thing again, Nikki. Let's start this thing again. So, tis the season. Is it really? We spoke on this last year. Not everybody is happy during the holidays, and we hit on some good stuff, Tanika. Good stuff. Oh, okay. So now we have to repeat. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? What are you doing for the holidays? How is it going to be for you?
For me, I'll be here this year. Unfortunately, usually I come home to you for Thanksgiving. It's our tradition, but I'm not going to make it this year because it's too long of a drive for me to do by myself. And so I'm going to stay home this year and we'll just meet up via Zoom or however we're going to meet up this year.
Okay. And same thing, like I'm not cooking or anything this year because you're not coming. And my husband has to work. So it'll just be me and the kids this
Mhm.
year for Thanksgiving.
And
Oh,
my job is open. The nurses still got to work for Thanksgiving Eve day and the day after. I always tell people complain about working on the holiday, but I'm like, people are not well just because it's Thanksgiving. There's still sick people, and so thank you for doing your job even on Thanksgiving. All of you who has to work, I'm off. But thank you for those who do have to work that day. So
Tanika, I have to say this before we get started because I didn't announce it the first time. We are live, guys. We are now live on Roku, Voice of Promise TV. So we are not only streaming here on Facebook and on YouTube, but we are now live on Roku, and that's as of today. So we are on TV as of today. And I want to say thank you, Rehani, at Voice of Promise, for the opportunity. She watches our show, and she invited us to do this, and we were like, we're in, we're game. So as of today, and every Sunday, we will be live on Roku at Voice of Promise.
I think it might be a Voice of Promise.
No, at.
At. Okay, at Voice of Promise. At Voice of Promise. That's right.
Yes. So now let's get into it, Nikki.
I think the first point that I made was that as a special need parent, we're often overlooked or not invited to family functions, even church functions, to be honest, because it depends on the disability of your child. Like sometimes it could be a child that has emotional issues that are not invited. They're not invited. If they have behavioral issues, they're usually not invited to family functions. Rain is neither one. She's a medical fragile, but because of her size now, it's why we don't get invited. I can't, even your house is a split level. I can't get her up and down the steps. My friends here, they either live on a hill, they have split level, they have a lot of stairs. But then some people just don't want those special need children in their house. So, and it makes it very lonely for special need parents.
And like I, said before, like you have a special needs handicapped wheelchair bound child, but I have a special needs emotional child. And
Right.
we have to be careful on whose homes we go to because we still have to keep an eye on him. And
Right.
so we're very limited as to where we could go, how long we will stay, etc., because we just don't know. And so you have your special needs, and then I have my special needs. And there's others that may have like Asperger's or, some other kind of special need. And I know that a lot of times those children, like the adults, don't want to invite the children, to be with, or can you find a babysitter and you come? And that's not very nice either.
Yeah, it makes it difficult for the holiday season for those parents because they feel isolated, like no one wants to be bothered with them or they don't want to be bothered with their child. And so I've had that happen to me in churches. I've had it happen to me in the library. I've had a client to say something to me about rain in my own shop. So the holidays can be a little stressful. I mean, special need parents go through this stuff all year round, but then it's really, really lonely at the holiday. And then you will see a spike in different things, alcoholism, abuse, and stuff like that with these special need parents that don't know how to cope properly with that because it can be lonely.
Yes. We touched on a few things that first session. What else did we talk about?
We talked about foster kids and how if they're not with their families during the holiday, it's difficult for them because they're separated from their families. And, sometimes the situation could be a new division from the family. Like you could be ripped from your family right
At any
before
time.
Thanksgiving. Yeah. And so holidays are difficult for them. You get a lot of runaways during the holiday with foster kids. They'll run away to someplace else.
Some of them try to get back home.
Yeah, yeah. And so if they don't have an outlet or something else to do, it's very difficult for them.
So speaking of the fosters, because we had mentioned this before, foster children, the younger ones, they seem to do okay, right? Because they're usually taken care of. I'm talking about your 3 to maybe 6-year-olds. But then once you become like 7 and more aware, those are the children that's my concern because you never know what is going on with them, and if they're going through any kind of abuse or any kind of, you know what I mean? And they're really missing their parents. And then, like you said, you don't know when they were taken because you could be taken at any time. We were taken and put in foster care around the Christmas season. It was in December. We were taken. So that could be very traumatic and that could be very difficult. And that's when you'll see the foster children rebel. And depending, now let's say they're taken there in care and they've been in care for a minute. If they're in a good home, then they'll be more, they'll be okay. But if they're in a bad foster home, then it just makes it worse. I don't know. You had mentioned about maybe if they got a job, like 14, 15-year-old, if they got a job, that might be a little, what do you say? Like, distraction. They might feel, like they're doing something useful, and I was mentioning earlier today, I had a client who was saying that she needs to do something in a soup kitchen, and I said I need to as well. My kids need to do something in the soup kitchen because they take it for granted everything that they have. They don't know what they don't have because they have everything.
Right, right. And, so we mentioned that population. We also mentioned the population. You mentioned a friend or a client who just lost a baby. And I know someone who just lost a son to gun violence. I know someone else who lost both of her parents this year. Her mother just passed away with COVID. Her father died earlier this year. So if you're missing a loved one this year for Thanksgiving, it's going to be difficult for you. And so, I don't know what to say there, because I'm always grateful for the life of the person, because I believe that they taught you something, you taught them something, you'll remember their smile. And of course, we always say they're in your heart, but it's not like having them here with you. But I like the remembrance that you did of Ma, how she always set a extra plate at the table. That could be for anyone that has passed away, because, people light candles in their honor, set the plate. There's some people that do that in the honor or in the spirit of their ancestors. But Ma she did it for those who were hungry and those who were in need. So I think that sometimes setting a different tradition in your own way can offset some of that loneliness,
So let me just reiterate, and you're watching Twinness with Tisha and Tanika. I'm gonna reiterate just what my sister said about my mom, who passed away two years ago. Every Thanksgiving, when we set the table, she had us set an extra place, and we use fine china. I don't know if I'm aging myself, but we use fine china, and that setting, that fine china was there for just in case somebody rang the bell and was hungry. So before my mom passed away, all of us got together and went to see her, and we had Christmas dinner in her, because she was in a retirement home. So we had it in her community center. Lo and behold, a couple of people came and asked for plates of food, and my mom made them plates of food. And my daughter, one of my children, came to me and was like, "Why are we giving them food?" And I said, "Because this is what it's here for. We have plenty. So, we're going to give it, and so we keep that tradition going in my household. We leave a place setting. It's to say thank you to, for being able to have, and also just in case somebody doesn't have, they're welcome to have. So that was a reiteration. And again, thank you, Corliss. Thank you. It was you were saying that the memories of the relatives. So I've never mourned my mother. I've never grieved my mom. And it may sound weird, but she's been gone 2 years, and I have no sorrow about her being gone. And that sounds, and I say that a lot, it sounds kind of harsh and it sounds kind of crude, but she lived a great life. We did the best that we could while she was living. She never wanted for anything. So I feel no guilt of her being gone, so I might think of her in a positive way. I may shed a tear, but I'm not grieving. And so we got to think about the people who's lost their children, who's lost their loved ones, who may be grieving instead of celebratory about the lives, because when lives are cut short, like your girlfriend who lost her child, 18 years old, what can I say about that? My girlfriend who her friend just lost a baby 11/11 at 11/11. She lost at the date 11/11 and at the time 11/11. And her husband, I forgot to even mention, is a veteran, and this year Veterans Day was on 11/11. And that's a sign of the angel. That's a sign of the angel. She was 5 months pregnant. She had a stillborn, and that's not an easy thing to get over. And as I said earlier, I lost my child at 5 months. I had a stillborn. My stillborn would be 19. Um, and I felt like, well, she'll be okay. She'll be, she'll, time heals all wounds. But
Right.
my girlfriend was like, not necessarily. And I'm saying
Right.
that because mine is 19 years later. But there are people who grieve a lot and heavily over, the death of their loved ones. So,
Right.
you
Right.
know,
I'm sorry, I'm looking at my phone because I couldn't see the comments in Twinness, but I found it now.
okay.
I always like to respond when I see people and So yes, that is very difficult. You guys are watching Twinness with Tisha and Tanika. We are on Roku now, Roku Live at Voice of Promise TV, right?
Yes, yes,
And we
yes.
are also on YouTube. So you can find us everywhere, you guys. And so,
Subscribe.
yes. So, for this year, Thanksgiving tea, we'll be meeting. We'll be doing a personal meeting about what we want to bring to the people.
Yes, yes.
As Rain calls them the people.
The people,
Anytime y'all see
yes.
Rain in the video, I say bye-bye to the people.
Yes. So we were asking, what can we do? And I was taking it back to, foster care to fabulous. That's one of our top topics here. What can we do for the fosters in care? And you had asked me that, and I said it's very hard to do for them because it's full of red tape. You want to do, but you're limited as to what you can do. As a business owner, I give 50% off of any hairstyle all year round. They get 50% off. For my battered woman, it's women's resources, that's what it's called out here. They get free service all year round. You will never know who's a battered woman coming into my salon because that is very confidential. So I may be doing a battered woman right next to you and you would never know it because it's confidential. I might be doing a foster child right next to you and you will never know it because it's confidential. So those are the two things. But as a business, I can do that. Tisha personally can't go to the foster agency and say, oh, I want to XYZ. The most I can do is like do a coat giveaway or something like that. Because if these kids are in care, they have a foster parent or they're in a group home and they're already doing for them. And that might not necessarily be true.
Mhm.
So your hands are tied with what you can do for these foster children.
And like I said, on behalf of Rainbows, we always give back to the families that's in the NICU because we know that they can't always get out. And that could be a lonely feeling too. You might have a child that's in the ICU just because they were born prematurely, but you also have those who were born with conditions, heart conditions, special need conditions like Rain. So we like to always give back to the NICU because those families can't get out. If y'all recall, I was in the hospital for almost 3 months with Rain and couldn't get out. And so just for someone to show that, hey, I understand, I care, give them that comfort of those handmade blankets, the Built for This t-shirts. And so that's how we give back in our way. And we do it on behalf of Rainbows. So, yeah.
I just had a dumb moment, Tanika. I
Yes.
can go to the agency and say, I'm having a Christmas party, and I would like to invite X amount of children to the salon
Yes.
next
Okay.
year.
Next year.
It's too late for me to plan that now.
That's right.
Because,
Marinate
that's
on
a lot
that.
of gifts and stuff that I would have to purchase. And I would have to think of the age range that I would want. I would probably want the teenagers because everybody wants the babies. Give me the teenagers, give me the teens. So give me the teens. So, all right. So you're watching Tisha and Tanika Alternatives Beauty Studio and Naturally Yours. This is the Twinness. We are talking about 'tis the season. Is it really? Because not everybody is happy during this time. You have a lot of people who are actually go through the winter blues or depression at this time. We're not just focusing on foster kids. We're not just focusing on special needs, but there's adults that suffer the winter blues at this time of year. One, they don't like the weather. Two, they may have no family. For example, let's talk about your grandmother. She's 87 years old. Her husband is gone, well, dead. Her only child, dead. And she lives on her own. And so she reaches out to us quite often to talk. She's lonely, So what about our seniors who are on their own? Is anybody checking on them? What company? Because people just seem to forget about the elderly as well. We could talk about the youth, we could talk about the forces, but what about our elderly? It seems like they're throwaways at this point. And last week I went to see my grandmother, and she is lonely and she does call quite often. But that's out of loneliness.
Well, I think that there's a lot of perspectives on that one. The nursing homes, they usually do something special
Yes.
for them.
Yes.
But I guess when you're talking about people that live residential, older clients, people, that could be tricky because, sorry to say it, but the Bible says you reap what you sow. And if, because mom lived by herself and she had a lot of people surrounding her with love because of the love she gave out. And when you're stingy and stingy with love, not necessarily money, when you're stingy with love, that comes back to you later on as well. And that's not just elderly, that's in general. You'll see fathers that have not been in their children's lives. And then when they get older, now they want their kids to help take care of them. And the kids are like, you wasn't there when we needed you. Why should we be here for you? But getting back onto the topic, it really just depends on the seeds that you sow. And that's how I'm going to leave that one. But yes, someone should be looking out for them as well. But that's no guarantee because, honestly, if you were with your family would care for you. That's where I would leave that one.
Nikki, foster kids, I won't even take it there right now. That'll be a topic for another day. Because, when people take in foster kids, they need to do it with the right intention. I'm going to just go ahead and, put it out there a little bit. I had a client say that she wants to take in foster child, a girl specifically, so that this girl can take care of her when she's old. And that's not the right reason to take in a foster.
And that's no guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your own birth children sometimes don't take.
Well, she has a birth child, and it's a son. And boys usually are not as nurturing as girls, Well, I can't even get into the story because you never know who's watching. But it wasn't the right reason to take in a foster. And I was kind of a little bit not happy about that conversation. And, I let it be known professionally, and when you're talking to a former foster, there's certain things that you really shouldn't say to me.
Sometimes they might not know.
Sometimes they may not know I was a foster or that they're saying
that you was a foster.
Ah.
But even regardless to that, because we've had conversations where I told you somebody said something out the way about special needs parents, and she was a professional. She was a nurse, but she didn't know that I had a special needs while she was running her mouth.
Right. So sometimes you got to watch what you say and who you say it to, because you don't know what you're saying and who you're saying it to.
But this season, you guys, we need to keep in mind those who are lonely, have a cocktail party, do a Zoom meeting, meet up with some friends, try to find a way. If you can't get out, if you can't travel like me, boo-hoo-hoo, find a way to celebrate. Y'all know me. My day would be filled with crafting and, going live with you later on in the evening. But I'm going to find a way to enjoy my day. Rain and I, the two of us in love. Yes. Hopefully if she's feeling good that day. Yes. But try to help somebody that might be lonely that day,
Again, 'tis the season and y'all know the rest of that. But is it really? Because not everybody is happy during the holiday season. Not everybody's happy during the winter season. So we have to be mindful that this is not the season for everybody. Everybody's not happy. Everybody's not in their happy space just because you are, or you may be,
Like I said, I'm a little, I don't usually celebrate holidays. Thanksgiving is the holiday that I do like to celebrate because we usually get together. But after having COVID this year or pneumonia, I'm very thankful to be here. And there's always something to be grateful for, even if, it's the little things that really count, just to have the breath in your lungs. Y'all don't know, you know. So those little things you should be grateful for. And so
Well, that's
I
a
know
major. Breath in your
that's
lungs is major.
yeah, that's a major. And just to be here, to have a job, because some people don't have jobs, and so it's a little, just to have your family, so those things to be grateful for.
And like I said to you earlier, when we were not live, I have two clients and a mother-daughter team, and the mother had surgery, and she's going to be released soon. They came to me last Saturday, and the daughter was like, "Can you make me a banana pudding?" Because most of my clients know my banana pudding. The pudding is made from scratch. I'm not going to the store getting the pudding that you mix. No, I'm standing over the stove making the pudding. So she asked me to bring her some, and I was like, "Sure." The same clients asked me to make them apple pie. So I made them the first time last year. I made them apple pie, and they were like, "We love your apple pie. Can you bring us some apple pie?" So next week, I'm bringing the banana pudding, and then I told them Christmas, I'll bring you the apple pie because I make the apple pies for Christmas. And then so they're grateful for the little things. That's a little thing, and I'm happy to do it for them because these are my faithful, faithful clients. They're there every 2 weeks getting their hair done, and you know, for mom to be coming out of surgery, that'll be her little taste of heaven because she's not going to cook Thanksgiving, obviously. So that'll be her little taste of heaven from Tisha, her banana pudding,
Mhm.
and so I'm happy that I can do that for them.
And for whoever's listening, I got my grubby paw out. Wherever it is, there it is. My grubby paw for some dressing. Some dressing.
Oh
That's
my
all I
goodness.
want is some dressing. I don't
Okay.
cook, you guys. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. I'm the sous chef. I'll help slice and dice, but I'm
And I'm
not
going to miss
cooking.
that, by the way, because now I
Yeah,
have to sit here crying with the onions by myself.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
You
So
should be.
yes,
You should
yes,
be.
yeah. Well, hey.
We want to say happy Thanksgiving to you guys. We are not suffering the winter blues, but we just wanted to make you guys aware that not everybody is as happy as we are. Um, and yes, we've suffered lots of losses through our life. And yet we still keep trucking. You know, I think we are pretty well adjusted for all that we have gone through. And if you guys have watched us, you know the losses that we've had. All of our parents died back to back to back, starting with Christmas Eve, my stepfather, then the next year, my mother, and then the next year, my father. And we were 10, 11, and 12 or so. So we lost those three at very early ages. We were foster children. And like we said, it doesn't matter the time of the year. These kids are snatched up Thanksgiving time, Christmas time, Easter time, Mother's Day. It doesn't matter the time of year. If these kids are in abusive situations or dangerous situations, the agencies are coming out and snatching these kids. And this is a time really that they really go after the children because it's cold outside. They need to get these kids in safe places. It might not be the place they want to be in, but they need to be in somewhere safer than where they are now. And here I go on my little boat. But a few weeks ago, my son had COVID, and we had to go to the hospital. And the nurse came to me and was like, you know, asking questions, and she didn't, of course, know that he was adopted. So I said, "Here's my medical insurance, but he also has, a separate insurance because he's adopted." And at the end, it's time for us to leave. She calls me to the side and she says, "How was it adopting? I think that I would like to adopt." And I said, "Don't wait. Go ahead and start the adoption process. Don't wait." But it was something because you never know who's watching you. And because of the way I present myself and the way my son is, she could tell that he's in a good home. And so she was like, how is it? How was the process? And, I'm like, just go for it. Just go for it. Start the process if this is something that's been on your heart, and that's just my little side note.
Y'all are watching Twin-ness with Tanika Gillard and Tisha McDonald. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We're just talking about the season, and we might touch on it again periodically, just keeping in mind things that we can do to kind of alleviate the stress of others, to encourage others, and just to support them in any way we can. If you find yourself in that place, try to find something to be grateful for, because there's always something to be grateful for. As a special needs mom, yes, I could fall into that hole of I'm here by myself and I don't have no one. Yes, and so because my family's so far away, woo-hoo-hoo. But as a a person who's lost a lot of family, like we said, mother, father, stepfather, grandmother, everybody, that can cause you into a depression. So if you lost a loved one this season, this year, last year, we hope that you could find a light, set that extra place at the table, whether it's to help to feed someone else or in reverence to the one that you lost. Just try to find a way. And for the fosters and the NICUs, just know that there's support and help out here.
Yes. And so we want to say thank you for watching. We will be back next Sunday. Again, we are live on Roku at Voice of Promise TV. Catch us under Twinness, subscribe. We are on Facebook and we are on YouTube. We are doing things a little differently next year, actually. And so I am grateful for what's to come. Have a happy Thanksgiving, guys. And we will be back next Sunday, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. And Tanika would like some stuffing if somebody can hear her, and see her little hand, it's ridiculous, always begging, but that's all right.
Hey, I don't cook. Everyone knows that my giving is always knitwear. That's my giving. I knit a lot, blankets, scarves, just things like that. That's my giving. I'm not much of a cook, you guys. Y'all know I'm not into the cooking, but
See you guys next Sunday, and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining us tonight. So long.
So long.